Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depends where you're watching from. It's afternoon here in Canada, and we say welcome to Focus on Liberia. And you are watching Roundtable Africa. I'm Sekou Keller, your host, and I'm here today as usual with my co-host and FOL West African correspondent, Edward Amara. And we are discussing an interesting topic today. Our topic today here is religion. I'll get it on the screen. See it's not on. I have to get it on the screen, folks. Please bear with me.
It's on the screen.
I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's network problem.
Yeah.
Yes, network problem. I'm not seeing it at all. So we are discussing religion and development in Africa. And Edward Amara is joining me as usual. Edward, welcome.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Sear. And I also want to join you in welcoming our large viewers across the globe. Today's as an all interesting topic, as you rightly stated, it is religion and development into Africa. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We promise you that this particular discussion is going to be fruitful and enthusiastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edward Amara. I think I would like to leave it with you a little bit. Everything disappeared from my end. It was very, very unfortunate. I can't see anything on the screen. So I will go in the background. You may continue. I will join you soon.
All right. Thank you. There, Sekou, you can leave and come back. Leave completely, Sekou, and come back and maybe restart your device and join us. Well, folks, in cyberspace, this is Focus on Liberia. This is Roundtable Africa, hosted by Sekou Keller and Edward Amara. Today's topic for discussion, as Sekou was trying to tell you, is religion and development in Africa. To make all this happen, we are asking 5 questions. Question number 1 is, what is religion, faith, and superstition? Number 2, is religion a blessing or curse in Africa? Number 3, how have the misrepresentations of faith and superstition hindered greater development in Africa? Number 4, does religion play key roles in making political decisions in Africa? And finally, folks, can religion provide the solution to Africa's socio-economic and political problems? Well, Edward Amara is here, first of all, to give a rundown of the latest development in Africa. Sekou, let's hear you. Edward, let's hear you.
Oh, thank you very much. As we know, Africa is an all-interesting continent. We have a lot of development that have been going throughout the continent. First, we go into the Horn of Africa. In all of Africa, we have Tigray region, which is one of the 14 regions found into Ethiopia. They are fighting against the federal government of Ethiopia. You have the Tigray region with Amhari and Afar region, that is a 3 combination force that are fighting for independence against the Ethiopian government. However, the TFA, that is the Tigray Liberation Forces, that have actually been into Ethiopia, or they have been integral part of the federal government of Ethiopia. When Abiy Ahmed took over in 2016, most of the reforms that he did actually affected the Tigray region, and now they are pushing for independence and more recognition into the government. A lot of people, over 10 million people, have actually been cut off from aid, and most of the people are living in devastating state. They are saying that if care cannot be taken, the poverty of tsunami, drought, and other things will definitely hit those people. Through the negotiation of Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president of Nigeria, and AU and other people, the Tigray peoples, or the Tigray Liberation Forces, have decided to withdraw from the Amhari and Afar region. However, they're saying that their withdrawal is not any indication that they have been defeated by the federal forces in Ethiopia. Rather, they want to ensure that there is peace and unity into Ethiopia. But should Abiy Ahmed violate the current memorandum of understanding that have been signed to install peace into Ethiopia, they have no other option rather than to hit back to ensure that they secure full independence. We also go into Libya, that is in the northern part of Africa. The presidential election polls that was set to kick off on Friday actually has been postponed by the country High National Electoral Commissioner, based on the fact that a lot of petitions have been leveled against most of the candidates. One, Sky Side, who is the son of the former and late president of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. They are saying that he's an indictee on war crime, caught into the Hague for crimes against humanity, rape, and also other war crimes that we are leveled against him. And being that he's an indictee or a war criminal or an alleged war criminal, they are not going to allow him to contest the election. Also, the presidential candidate of General Kyle Havertz are yet to be declared. So all of those things have actually been proposed by the National Electoral Commissioner, claiming that when unhealthy competition like that are set into the country, with such election process will not be credible. We also come into West Africa, in the sub-Saharan African country. On Tuesday, on Monday, blows we actually thrown into the Ghanaian parliament on an attempt by the country current ruling party to introduce mobile banking, where government salaries and other things are going to be paid through it. The opposition MP are saying that is definitely going to disadvantage people of low income, and at the same time, that could actually be used by the government as a submersive act to manipulate the economy, and could also throw the government into unnecessary losses. However, the government is still insisting. So yesterday there was a heated debate into parliament, which resulted into serious blow. We also go into South Sudan. South Sudan is also in the eastern part of Africa. Protesters are actually fleeing for their life, and they are even demanding for Abdullahi Hamdok, who was the interim government president, to resign. They are thinking that the government have actually, or the interim leader has actually connived with the leadership of the military council to ensure that they manipulate elections and continue for a continuation of the military into power. So they have definitely rejected the proposal being sent in by their interim leader, and they're asking for both the military and the interim leader to leave. Then finally, we come into West Africa, the General Africa. AFCON said, that is the African Cup of Nations, is actually set to kick off on January the 9th, and the competition is expected to end on the 6th of February. However, FIFA and other international bodies, we are actually demanding for the competition, which is set actually to kick off on January the 9th, to be postponed, being due to the emergence of the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 into Southern Africa, and it has now taken over the world at large. However, the AFCON leader is saying that I think the continent should kick off with a tournament, as Europe and other international bodies are continuing playing their own league. That should not serve as a hindrance. At the same time, COVID-19 is set to remain with us, like we have other endemic into Africa, like HIV and AIDS and other diseases. So you are saying that such pandemic should not be ignored. We should accept the fact that we are here to live with such diseases. So AFCON is actually going to kick off. The tournament will definitely end on the 6th of February 2022, except otherwise. Thank you. These are some of the news that are developing into Africa.
Thank you so very much, Edward Amara. Mr. Sekou Kala is having some technical issues, so I have to come in because he cannot see the controls there. Sekou, at least we can hear you, we can see you. I hope you are seeing us.
Yes, I can see you and I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. So, Sekou, let me come to you. The topic we're talking about, religion and development in Africa. These two things, I can say, are challenges to Africa as a whole. Give us the reason why this topic is important.
Well, the topic is important because since we enter 21st century, every country or every continent have made a mark when it comes to modernity, development, and even cultural revolution. We've seen Europe on the top in terms of science and technology. We've seen the rise of China. We've seen Japan and Korea coming up. So all these continents are coming on top. So for some reason, there is some kind of stagnation in Africa. And the analysts are looking for the reason for this stagnation. What are the social, cultural issues that have stagnated the development of Africa, or what has even underdeveloped Africa as a society. Not just when we talk about development here, now we're talking about infrastructure and all these things alone. We are talking about even culturally, educationally, what is wrong with the African continent that is not catching up with the rest of the world. So religion has been cited as one of the problems. Some people argue against that and say that religion in itself is not a problem. But people say that in Africa, religion has been used wrongly, and it is contributing to the underdevelopment of the continent. That's why we want to look at this topic today and see where is the facts and where is the myth.
Thank you so very much. Folks, we are getting started here with our discussion. Our first question here, and starting with you, Mr. Edward Amara. In the mind of the African man and woman, what is religion? What is faith? And what is superstition?
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. C. As we are really seeing the walls, those three walls are actually intertwined. You cannot divorce one from another. Religion, faith, and superstition have actually been with us from time immemorial since the birth of man. Or having underscored that when we talk about religion, we talk about a set of belief. A set of belief that a group of people follow strictly because of their faith into the supernatural. It could be like, when you talk about religion, it's just like a set of believers, as I said, a group of people follow based on their faith in the supernatural. It could be Christianity, it could be Muslim, it could be Hinduism, it could be Buddhism. We have a lot of Judaism, we have a lot of other things. So that is the simple knowledge or definition about religion. I want to talk about faith. Faith is that firmness, that absoluteness, that trust, that completeness into one ideology, that this is a possibility. This is an assurance. That is why even in the book of the New Testament in Hebrews 11, defines faith as a kind of substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So when you have that complete firm, that complete assurance, that complete understandability, you just think that this is certainty, is not a possibility. So that is definitely faith. When you come now to superstition, this is a kind of thing that has no scientific proof. Rather, people just tend to conclude on it because of fear into the supernatural. So superstition is a bit different from faith, but it is intertwined with it. It's a bit different from religion, but it is intertwined with it. Because superstition is the ideal set of religion I want to classify it so. Because it is only a superstitious belief that somebody will just wake in the middle of the night, especially in an African context, and see a cat on the table and conclude that it could either be a wizard or a witch which had actually invaded my home. It is only out of superstition that you can be lying down and you see a bat, which is also a kind of bird or a creature that lives within the night. It entered into your room and you conclude that a witch had actually entered into my home. It is only out of superstition that we hear an owl go crying overnight and you conclude that this is definitely this is definitely a kind of bad ornament. So it does not have any scientific proof. It is only out of superstition that we see an African man heading from one village to another. If he or she stumbles the left foot, it said this is a sign of bad luck. And when a person stumbles the right foot, they tell you that this is a sign of good luck. So superstition does not have any scientific proof, but it is just fear of the supernatural and the ignorance of what happened, but they conclude that is it. These are some of the knowledge that I have in response of the question that you asked.
Thank you. Sekou, we're talking religion, we're talking faith, we're talking superstition.
Thank you very much. Like my colleague rightly said, from time immemorial, and the first Homo sapiens landed their foot on this planet, they began to think about who are we, where did we come from, why are we even here in this globe? So trying to supply answer to that curiosity of that consciousness to say, who am I, give birth to what you call religion, superstition, and faith. But today, in context, these things have various definitions now as civilization evolved. So the word religion, because we are speaking English, we will have to go to etymology where it comes from. So it comes from Latin. So the Latin people who formed that word religiare or religare, it means to bind together or to have a bond. And why are they using that word, to bind together? That is, religion was all about people pledging allegiance to a particular deity and God to follow certain rules and regulations. So you are actually planning, it's just like you join a political party and you accept all they believe in that political party. Even sometimes you don't agree with certain things, but you have become part and you have certain obligation, responsibility as you have joined that party. So there is some kind of binding laws and other responsibility on you. It's like that in religion. So when religion is to bind people to a God, bind them to a particular belief system. So when you are into religion, you are under a bond that you have to obey. That's why when you go against it, people within that religion start to attack you and say, you are not following our faith rightly, because all of you swore an oath to follow certain rules and regulations. When it comes to faith, faith is within the religion itself. So now a group of people, even within the religion, have a puritanical view of the religion. They have deep-seated belief about certain phenomena. Or rapture is going to take place, or somebody is going to come from the sky someday to save us. Oh, when I have this happen to me is because I was righteous. So you have a deep-seated belief in a puritanical understanding of religion. That's what faith is all about. Superstition is subjective. So that when I belong to the religion, I believe the other people in the other religion are superstitious. So when you say something is superstitious, you are actually making a kind of a subjective statement to say people are using their irrational approach to phenomena and things around them. So anybody in other religion can deem other people to be superstitious. So it's a kind of a subjective statement. But to understand how these things work, religion and all in our society, we have to look at little statistics here.
Okay.
So the statistic I'm going to give it come from Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astrophysicist in America, is well known. So he tried to do some analysis how this belief, faith, and superstition works. So it was this statistic is based on the American society, but you can also apply on the African society as well. So he said 90% of people, general society, believe in one religion or the other. 90%. Okay, anybody you stop on the road, they will say, I belong to one religion or the other. But as people graduate, when you approach people who graduated from university and colleges, the number dropped to 60%. They no longer have faith. The more education they have, the more they move away from religion. So when you go from people who are graduate, university, college degree, you will find only 60% will say they have certain type of faith or superstitious belief. Then when you go to professional scientists, people who are now career professionals, the number drop again to 25%. So this tells you that the more ignorant a society is, the more closer they are into religion and superstitious belief and faith. The more educated a society becomes, the less religious it becomes. This is what this statistic is trying to tell us. And you can also apply it to African society.
And Sekou, does it mean that the less skills that one has, then one turn to believe or use religion as their reliance for survival? Is that what it is?
Right, that's what it is. Because as a conscious being, you have to explain phenomena around you. Why did this happen to me? Mm-hmm. And also you are trying to control forces. So if you have less control over forces, then now you have to believe that a supernatural power have to help you. I'll give an example of a sick person. I'm sick, I need an operation, I have no money. I can't go to the hospital. So I now have to believe a supernatural power will come somehow to help me. But a man in America or Canada will call an ambulance. So he's going to have less faith. Where my faith is trying to help me, he's going to call an ambulance to take him to hospital. That's why developed country or more educated people are less to be into religion and faith than poor people. It's just a normal way of approaching life.
Thank you. And so, Mr. Amara, let me come to you. Does it mean that the whole thing about faith, religion, and superstition sometimes becomes subjective?
It is absolutely subjective based on one perception. Mm-hmm. However, Mr. Kelly likely stated, those who are poor or living in abject poverty tend to be more religious. Because they believe that their own Moses actually lies into the faith that they have in them. Because when they realize that their own personal earning, the society where they are in, your financial capability cannot save themselves, they rely on the faith. So somebody who's definitely religious, somebody who is superstitious, somebody has faith, the ideology on watching at these three angles will become subjective. Somebody who is money, somebody who is financially pleased, who has political power, who has everything within his own circumstance, with his own primacy, will never depend on religion, will never anchor his or her own trust into faith or another anything superstitious, because they believe that they have the solution and the solution is directly before their front, and they can just use what they have to deliver the exact goal that they want. You do not have the money, you do not have that capability. The best thing that you can do is to rely in the supernatural. So it is subjective based on your social status.
Thank you so very much, folks. The program you are watching is Roundtable Africa, hosted by Mr. Sekou Kala and Edward Amara, focused on Liberia, West African correspondent based in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and Soninsie, moderating today. Gentlemen, let's come to question number 2, and let's start with you again. Edward, if I may here, is religion a blessing or is it a curse for Africa? And you know Africans are very highly religious. I may even say more than any other continent. So how can we be so attached to the almighty deity, and yet we are the least developed, least equipped in any capacity, shape, or form? It's just because this religion thing is a curse or it's a blessing, and we just don't see that blessing?
Absolutely. To me, religion is a curse in Africa instead of a blessing, because religion became a curse the very day that Africans tend to be somehow lackadaisical about their surrounding. They have turned into idleness and thinking that prayers into church, into mosques, can actually change the circumstances. The circumstances or our prevailing circumstances that we found within ourselves. I think I sometimes listen to Fashola, who is now the Minister of Energy into Nigeria. He also served once as the governor of Lagos. He said that it is because of religion is leading to idleness. And when you see idleness is a cause. So because of religion into Africa, it is no longer a blessing to us, rather a curse. Because when you watch at the world, because you are watching China, which of course, arguably population is more than the continent of Africa, but they have their own religion, but they believe in something that is very practical. But when you watch at Africa and in your religious context, we tend to feel that most of our problems that are actually happening to us is based on religious belief. It is because we have chosen to use the wrong leaders, and those leaders could actually not be religious, and we believe that things like that cannot be scientifically solved. It cannot be solved with our own knowledge. We limit our knowledge or knowledgeability of us about solving our own personal problems based on the book that we read. And this book we are carefully written by people known or unknown. And these people could not actually provide any tangible solution to it. So Africans confide in their own solution to our socioeconomic problems, political problems, definitely time religion as a cause. You watch at what is happening today into Africa. Most of the kind of what we see are seeing religious set people creating problems into Africa. You watch at Somalia, you watch at Nigeria, you watch at Burkina Faso, you watch at Sudan, you watch at Libya, you watch at Tunisia, you watch at Morocco, you watch at Mauritania, Mali, Chad, you name them. All of them are suffering from political consequences, social devastation, economic drain because of religious mentality. We are seeing jihadist movement. You watch at Central Africa, we are seeing the anti-Balakas and the Balakas fighting at themselves. They are using religion as a pretext to wage war. So you watch at the manner in which, before the infiltration of religion into Africa, I think Africa was very peaceful. Religion came with division. Religion came with a set of belief that actually is meant to condemn others. Even when you watch at Israel, we are religious. I see this Zionism, you talk about Christianity, you talk about other faiths. Before this time, people were living together in peace and harmony, social cohesion. But when different type of ideology, different set of belief, different set of faith, different type of superstitious way of watching at things, when it infiltrated the society, it tend to divide. Unfortunately, each time we talk about Africa, watch at the scientific aspect and watch at the literacy level. It is because people have not been able to read and peruse beyond the ordinary. People have not been able to watch beyond with the ordinary eyes and understand the division religion has created. It is only out of religion that people who have been radicalized, people who have been politicized, because you need to depoliticize religion, you need to de-radicalize religion, and you need to ensure that most of those who are fanatics, who are actually invading Africa with all sorts of aggressive authoritarian mentality, are using religion. And religion is even installing wrong leadership into power. Watch out Prince Johnson into Liberia. He called himself as the president of his own church. And should he become the president of Liberia? In fact, I can tell you for free, nobody will judge his background if he comes to presidential election into Liberia. But they will choose to vote for him because they came from the same church. Look at Lazarus Chikara of Malawi. He became the president out of his religious mentality. These are the set of people. Even our leaders tend to use religion to even ignore or make people to live into their ignorance while they violate them. So it is because of religion, people's mentality is definitely crowded. So religion is a cause to me instead of a blessing in Africa.
Seko, we see the biggest churches. Nigeria, you are very familiar with that terrain. But we see the problems there too, and you know the problems there. Is this religion thing is cause, or is it a blessing for Africa?
Yeah, I will just lay out the argument and I leave the audience to make that conclusion. The first thing to discuss religion in Africa, we have to take it from two angles. One, the historical context. How did we come in contact with this religion? If you understand that, it is very important. So because the historical context now tells us how we got involved in this religion in the first place. Then the second thing we need to discuss, okay, now we have the religion. What are the social implications so far? What has it contributed presently and how will it be relevant in the future? So that's all we need to look at, then we can make conclusion. Historical context. We know that Islam arrived in Africa through the Ghana, especially West Africa side here, through the overthrow of the Ouagadougou Empire. The Almoravi Muslim from Morocco launched a brutal war against the Kingdom of Ghana. So Islam landed its foot in West Africa with bloodshed. I'm sorry if some people think that's an attack against any religion. It's not. It's the reality. We'll go to northern part of Nigeria. How did Islam spread there by the Fulani? Usman Danfodio launched a jihad and overthrew the Hausa Kingdom. The Hausa and the Fulani people were practicing a peaceful spirituality. They were defeated. That's why they became Muslim today. From the day the Ghana Empire fell, our elite joined the religion, especially certain ethnic groups. Then they now became the messengers of the Arabs to attack their fellow Africans and convert them into the religion. We did not willingly accept Islam. It was imposed on us. And the documents are there. The attack of Ibn Yahya from the Moroccan Empire of attacking Ghana Empire. We have Usman Danfodio Jihad. We have what happened in Zanzibar in the slave trade that happened, the Arab slave trade. Arabs began the slave trade of black people. They shipped millions of black people before the European could come. The first people to sell black people to the world are Arab Muslims. Arabs created some of the worst chaos in African kingdom, destabilized African kingdom. That's why when European came, it was easy for them to attack Africa because they were right there in North Africa, our neighbor. So it was easy for them to destabilize. And as we speak, they are destabilizing the continent again. It has not ended. This is how we came in contact with the religion. I'm sorry, this generation we now believe, so we don't want to talk about it. But 200 years ago, your parents were dying, fighting, resisting the same religion that you now accepted willingly. Christianity came into Africa, apart from Ethiopia, with the exception of Ethiopia. Christianity arrived in Africa through colonialism and slavery. Primary source, the Ghanaian, go to Ghana, the slave castle in Ghana, in Elmina. You will find inside that dungeon where they used to ship the slave, there is a church there, a cathedral. In the dungeon where your ancestors were chained, and they were in their own feces. They were shipped to the boat. The people who were shipping them to the boat had a cathedral inside there where they used to pray before they put our ancestors on the boat and ship them over to Europe. So our first contact with Christianity, beside Ethiopia, it was through slavery. It was through colonialism. Ethiopia is a different subject. We will not go into it. So the historical aspect is clear. We did not willingly accept the religion. Now let's go to the implication of this religion in our current society. The religion itself, the puritanical aspect of religion, accepting that man died for you, it's not a crime. It's not a bad thing. Accepting that faith, that there is a God in heaven helping you, in your emotional stress, it's not a problem. But look at our society as we are evolving. The religion is not helping. One, religion philosophy, especially Christianity, Islam, is based on exclusivism. Who don't pass through the sun, you cannot go to heaven. If you cannot pass through the Prophet Muhammad's teaching, you cannot go to heaven. So I see you as an opposite of me, the other. To see other group of people as different from you, exclusivism is dangerous. And you make you to segregate other people. You cannot marry my daughter because you are an unbeliever. I cannot accept you into my home. You are an unbeliever. That creates a disagreement between society. That philosophy of exclusivism is what is killing African society. Nigeria today is weakening and falling apart because of the ideology of exclusivism. Then when you move from there, you go to the dogma. I believe that my holy book cannot be questioned. Anything inside is from God. It cannot be questioned. It's holy. So that when extremist groups come from your religion, we cannot talk against them and their holy book because we are scared that it is a holy book. So the content cannot be questioned. So this dogmatic idea, you don't criticize religion, your life is under threat. Some people are trying to, they will persecute you. But we can question scientific books. We can question culture. I can deny a scientific theory and present another argument. Society evolved. But the dogmatic ancient books you brought 2,000 years ago, nobody can question it. If you question it, then you are considered a threat, and people are beginning to put your life in danger. Society begin to persecute you. It's dangerous for any society to evolve that way. Then the superstition aspect of it, where the people sit down and believe that they do not have jobs, they do not have all these things because it's witches and witchcraft in their village that is preventing them from doing that. Instead of them to go on the street to put the politician feet to fire to develop the nation, they are now thinking that their problem come from their villages, their problem come from witches and wizards. I told people when I was in Africa, my prayer was, God, please give me a job. When I arrived in Canada, I don't remember praying that prayer anymore. All I do is walk to the office where they have jobs, and I have jobs. I can leave one job today, I get another job tomorrow. There are employment agencies everywhere. So that prayer I was praying in Africa, God was not listening. Why? God was telling me, your politicians are sitting on your job. Your leaders are sitting on your job. So the religious essence is not helping the social evolution and cultural evolution of our people. So historically, it's a problem, and right now it's a problem. Going into the future, it's not helpful.
Thank you so very much. Sekou, let's come to our third question here, gentlemen. Let's start with you, Edward, this time. How have the misrepresentation of faith and superstition hindered greater development in Africa? In other words, how are these beliefs, the belief of religion and faith and superstition, are these things hindrance to greater development in Africa? Because we see in China, these people, they are now worshiping the God Almighty. We African, believe we are worshiping. We believe these people are worshiping idols, and yet they are developed. So why are we not having this development that we desperately need when we are actually worshiping the true Almighty God who can say, let there be light, and there was light? What is hindering that, Edward?
Oh, thank you very much. I think it is the misinterpretation or misrepresentation of faith and superstition that is actually leading to greater underdevelopment into Africa. Let's first look at the book of Testament. I can even use the Bible to shape my point. If you watch any book of Thessalonians, the second book of Thessalonians, chapter 3, verse 6 to 8 to 18, where Paul went in Thessalonica to serve as an evangelist or a servant of God, a preacher, or an ambassador of God into the church. Upon his arrival, the church membership wanted to accommodate Paul and actually give him everything that he needed in his domestic affairs to the church. Paul said, no, you need to discourage idleness into the church, because an idle man's mind is the devil workshop. Everybody must work so that he or she can put food on the table. That was exactly what Paul stated. So having said that, let us watch now at the misrepresentation of superstition and faith that is now leading to greater underdevelopment into Africa. So we are going to watch at this situation one by one. Let us first watch at what is happening today in Africa. You are seeing Africans anchoring their young, energetic, scientific knowledge, their ability to change the society through wise thinking, through making sound and wise political decision on the table. Let me watch at this issue like a student. We talk first, watch at the religious aspect into schools. I have gone, because I attended school into Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. You may see some of our colleagues who may not study hard enough. When it is time for exams, you see them going to church, asking their pastors to pray for them so that they can pass their exam. I told them that this is a classical stupidity, a well-qualified, idle mind way of qualifying things. God, even the Bible, you cannot know the Bible without first study. Those who know the Bible study the Bible very hard to understand what the Bible is. You have never seen a pastor who is not eloquent enough, a pastor who is not studious, a pastor who is not highly intelligent and highly educated to know the versions of the Bible and quote them for you. It takes an intelligence mind. So why do you think? Do you think that God will just manipulate things from heaven and send them into your mind? You see what Christ did. Before ever Christ could disseminate his message based on the biblical teaching, he trekked from one destination to another to preach to the people and even ask them to be hardworking. Even when you watch at the Mohammedalism study or the Islamic study, you see what Muhammad, may peace and love rest upon him, did whatsoever thing to disseminate it. Unfortunately, now are using religion to anchor their faith into it, and they're also using superstition, as I rightly stated. Superstition is a type of belief that do not have any scientific proof. Rather, people think and feel that anything can just happen because it was predestined, and that is actually wrong. It is only an idle man's man will watch and he said, once there is life, there is hope. I agree, but their hope must be backed up by faith, and if you are going to back it up by faith, you need to work for it hard. Why do you think the Western society is a sophisticated one? It is in the first place, they have de-radicalized religion and they have depoliticized religion and allow people to work for the change of their society. But people just think and feel that we can only change the society when something supernatural happens. No, God hates an idle mind. Because even what God created heaven and earth according to the Bible in the space of 6 days, and the 7 days he rested. So the Bible said, God rests on the 7th day. So if God rests on the 7th day, it means God was actually walking throughout the 6 days. Though God made certain pronouncement, but there were certain things God did by himself. Having underscored that, we are not going to watch religion in an African context. It is only in Africa you will find people, especially on Sunday, they will spend 5, 6, or 7 hours in church or in churches praying to God. It's a complete idleness. It is only in Africa you will see youth, energetic people who have the mentality to radically think, or you can think, you have positive radicals and you have negative radicals. You have positive radicals who can meditate, think beyond the ordinary and change the society. Those people who spend time on crusade, praying, the time that they would have spent studying, thinking wisely, making society, you will see them into churches, praying, rolling down, and you see these pastors saying that they have solutions towards their problem. Ironically, Africa remains to be the most religious continent and yet the most underdeveloped. It is because we have chosen, that is sometimes they say, to you to actually hide a secret from an African mind, put it into the context of the book and forget about it. We hardly read. You watch at the Western world. The Western world today did not actually develop because they are religious. But even in the book of James chapter 5 verse 17 state, it says any religion where you lack benevolence, that is not religion. And the book of James up to chapter 4 tells us that most of us are praying today, we are not getting it. It's a manner in which that we are praying, we are not working. It is only in Africa you will see people accusing their pastors. A pastor will tell that I have a vision for you. You are going to get a job, but you need to pray. And those people will just become idle whole day they will be in church. So what I'm trying to qualify here is that we spend most of our useful time on prayers and we are not working. We are not backing our religious mentality with action. And that particular superstitious belief that we think that everything can just change within the supernatural, it is not responsible for our development. You have listened to a lot of men of God. When you watch at these people, if these people have actually chosen to invest their time into depoliticizing religion, de-radicalizing religion, trying to ask people to go out. In fact, most of those religions, look at David Odeyipo, you watch at Pastor Chris, you watch at Pastor Evangelist Johnson Suleiman, you watch at others. These people are highly educated, well classified. In fact, they use their own religion now as a kind of hub for their market. They are very good writers. They are philosophers. They write, they print books, and they sell it. So that particular church serves like a market. So ask how many of those people, how many actually are invested? You are seeing certain pastors who are very young, and they tend to live on the church offering. And they tend to persuade people. Most people, in fact, they will tell you that your problem is solved as long as you pray to God. So you take up 1 or 2 months praying to church, yet that particular problem cannot be solved. If you are choosing the other way, the problem will definitely be solved. So religion, the misinterpretation of faith, and superstition is responsible for greater underdevelopment into Africa.
Sekou, let me add this to that question. We hear this saying that predestination. I want you to talk about that. And I'm not a Bible guy, but I hear that faith without work is dead. That is God emphasizing the importance of your work. That, in order for your situation to be changed, you have to work for it. Let me hear you.
Yeah, I will come to your question about predestination, but before I do that, I just want to make people to understand, something very clearly, that there are 2 arguments out there about why religion has failed in African society. There are people who are making the argument that religion has been good. It's good in Saudi Arabia. It's good. It has developed Europe. Why is it arrived in Africa and then now it became a curse? So the problem is not the religion. The problem is the African. That argument is flawed. If you go by that argument, then it means that Africans have an intellectual capacity issue, that he does not have the intellectual capacity to handle the religion. That's why he's like that. My position is religion in itself has not developed any society, and I will defend my argument. Let's go with Islam. Before 14th and 15th century, Baghdad was the headquarters of science and development. During the classical age, they call it the Muslim Golden Age, where the Moors, the Muslim Moorish people, they almost conquer half of Europe. They were the most scientific and developed people in the world. And they even Timbuktu in West Africa became a center of learning. So there are people who are making the argument that Islam made a great stride in science. Some of the greatest scientists, if you don't know, that developed algebra, all these things were Arab scientists. But here is the truth. When they conquered Europe and other places, they came in contact with Greek books, Greek texts that they left behind, and Egyptian texts. They translated them into Arabic. That is how scientific culture began to develop in the Muslim world. But Islam, as a religion, did not provide any additional knowledge to the development of science. How do we know? Before the end of the 14th century, when the Arab fell down from power, what happened? An imam came up called Imam Ghazali in Baghdad. He said, science is anti-God. Because if we continue with science, that means we'll begin to question the Quran. We will begin to question the validity of some of the doctrine of our religion. So we need to abandon it and follow faith, because the war will soon end. With that approach, many Muslims follow. Science disappeared from the Muslim world until today. In fact, according to statistics, only 0.5 Muslims are able to win Nobel Prize in any scientific invention. They have not been able to make any stride in science. The latest development you see in the Arab world is due to oil. They are not inventing anything. Let's go to Europe. Europe, in the dark ages of Europe, Christianity, the Pope was in charge of Europe. Yeah. Europe went into dark ages. There was no development. Scientists who were coming out to move Europe out of dark ages to bring them into the age of light, like Galileo, they were persecuted by the church. The church killed scientists. If you invent anything that goes contrary to biblical teaching, they will kill you. I will give you an example. You sit here and say, we all came from Adam and Eve. Then anthropologists go and find that we came into this world through evolution. They find all the human bones and fossils. There is contradict your Adam and Eve. Are you going to continue with it? Your religion is anti-science. Because they say we came from one man called Adam and Eve. We have not found Adam and Eve grave until today. We have not found the grave of all the people in the Bible. But we found in the Quran as well. But we found the fossils of primitive people that lived before. Okay, in Africa. How do we know that human being came from Africa? It was through science. We were able to find Lucy and her body in 2.3 million years old in Ethiopia. We've been able to find Homo sapiens sapiens and how they moved down to Europe. We have not found Adam and Eve. We have not found the bones of Adam and Eve. So religion is anti-science. The Bible believer used to believe the earth is flat because Jesus stood on the temple and then he saw the whole world. But when the earth said that the earth is spherical and everything is rotating, we are all in space. There is nothing like flat earth. The church went against them. So the Quran, the same thing. There are things in the Quran that are anti-Bible. The Prophet Muhammad commanded the moon and the sun. That's not in the Quran, but it's in the Hadith. They commanded the moon and the sun to set in a palm. That is scientifically impossible. The sun is 10 times bigger than the earth. How can you bring something that is bigger into something that is smaller? Is that magic? So these are things that you find in their books that are contradictory to science. So they went against science. So Europe began to develop scientifically when they separated the church from the state. Until today, in the Western world, the church is separated from the state. That's why Europeans were able to make progress. What happened in Africa? We have not separated religion totally from the state. Your pastors are lighting Christmas trees all around. They are singing songs. Your presidents on Friday, Alassane Ouattara in Côte d'Ivoire, they will carry all their tribal men and go sit down in the mosque. They are presenting to the people that they are religious. In order for you to make for you to even get a vote in Africa, you have to be associated to certain kind of religion. So the religion is eating every fabric of our society. The way we even present, the way we even think, the way we even strategize, everything God, 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 as if God only speaks to us. And like you rightly said, the Chinese don't call that God you calling, but they are, you can borrow money from them. The Chinese don't need your Bible and the Quran, but they are ahead of you. So there has to be another solution. You sit down there, you believe the Red Sea was parted. You believe snake spoke in the garden to one woman called Adam and Eve. You actually believe, have you ever seen a snake speaking? Have you seen somebody parted a Red Sea? But you believe these things to be true. So your mentality is the mentality of superstition. You cannot make progress in science. This is why Europeans separated the church from science. The Arab world refused to separate Islam from their state. They will never make progress in science. The day the oil disappears, they will go back to poverty. Arab countries that don't have oil like Yemen, they are one of the poorest in the world. They have not made any invention. So religion in Africa is being the same religion all over the world. You need to separate it from rational thinking in order for development to come. Let's go to the issue of predestination. It all comes from religion. They believe that the idea, the God concept, that there is an old man sitting in the sky who has predestined our future. So now anything happened to me, I said he already wrote it, that's why it happened. That approach, we are not teaching here because I see some comment, people are thinking we are saying people should disbelieve God and become atheists. That's not what we're saying. You can have God concept has always existed in Africa. We have always believed in God in all our culture, but we did not apply it in a religious way. When you go to an African herbalist and say that your bone is broken, he's not going to pray for you. He's going to get a rifle leaf that is required to fix your bone. When you go to him and say you have this sickness, you are sick, they don't pray to our ancestors to heal you. They look for the rifle leaves and give it to you. That's a scientific approach. Those, even though you don't recognize it that way, but it's a scientific approach. If you go to ancient African kingdoms, They never use prayer to solve their problem. They study the stars. They study weather. They study to know when the season happening. They try to understand things. That's why the Dogons of Mali are one of the greatest scientists that people don't recognize. So we cannot sit here and say, like Egypt, people say, for example, you said African were advanced. In ancient Egypt, they worship many gods, but they had a concept in their development. It's called Tep Accept. And what does that concept mean? It means accurate conclusion using the correct method of analysis. They say in everything, accurate conclusion using the correct method of analysis, accept attempt. So everything they want to do, they want to arrive at an accurate conclusion using the correct method of analysis. They don't call the God Amen Ra to come and face their flood or water, a natural disaster for them. They plan for it. They fix it. So that's what we are saying. We don't say throw away your God. We say separated from rational thinking, separated from our educational system. Let's go for science and technology, and let's put the religion in our closet.
So cool. Thank you so very much for laying it out there and folks watching us. This is Focus on Liberia. This is our program, Roundtable Africa, where we talk about the issues affecting the continent of Africa and its people. And we want to be very clear, and Sekou could not be much more emphatic. We are not telling you your belief in God should be thrown through the window. We are saying there is your God and there is science, and we should not mix the two. You speak to somebody in Liberia, the first thing you hear from them, by the grace of God, by the grace of God. You are saying by the grace of God, but you are going to China. Everything in Liberia now is from China, and also in most part of the world. The Chinese are worshiping idols. It is because they are applying science. Many years ago, even our ancestors, our fathers in our villages, our people, by studying the sun and when the rain comes down, that's how they decided when to start planting. That is science. I don't know, people don't understand this thing called science. That science our people were applying. They were not praying to their false God. They were not praying to any God to say, oh, when do we plant? Give us an answer before we go and plant. There were some that would decide to plant the rice in a swamp because they know that that place is wet enough for the rice to be able to grow. That was scientific research that they've done, because you need to be able to water the rice. It needs water and the sunlight to grow. So our people, having observed the season, when the rain comes down and when the sun comes, will decide when to start planting. So that as soon as they finish planting the rice, the rain will come down and then the sun will follow. I don't remember in my village, after planting the rice, we would take a bucket and go, spray it on the water. We never did that because our people studied the weather. They knew when the sun would come down. They knew when the rain would come down. That is scientific. They were not praying, oh, Father God, let the rain come down for my rice. No, it didn't help our people. So people should get this thing right. We are not telling you to throw your God through the window. We need to understand science for what it is, research these things and apply it to our life. That is how you pray to say, well, we want the coastal highway and you get it right there. It will not work. You need money. You need an engineer. You need the materials. How will you get the material? How will you get the materials? These are the things we need to investigate. Well, folks, in cyberspace, Focus on Liberia here, we will take a very short break. When we come back, we will continue with the discussion. And also, we will bring in your comments right away. Don't go anywhere. This is Focus on Liberia, where we educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Roundtable Africa is the best. We will be right back.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jar.
Thank you for watching, folks. We are back with you. We want to roll in your comments here. Like you have from Elizabeth Victoria Dempster watching now, and amen and amen, she said. Roslyn Morris said, amen. Like you have from Daniel Quay, he said, but when Africa will be united. Let's hear from Samuel Munger. Samuel Munger watching from India, Trill, North Carolina. Religion is Africa West enemy. I have some agreement there. Let's hear from Zanos Carter Jr. You are 100% correct, Sekou. Sekou research this stuff, and you can only get a year focus on Liberia. Samuel Munger again, critical thinking will eventually doom religion. That's why religion demands that we do not think on or question anything. Let's hear from Mr. Carter here again. Poverty and illiteracy are sickening by themselves. Great analysis by Sekou. He's basic here. Religion is a curse for Africa and its people. That was when we asked the question whether religion is a curse or a blessing for Mama Africa. Man made God, and if anyone can prove me wrong, I will join that religion. From Moses Sori, I am following all your analysis, and that's what we do here. We bring you analysis, and you can decide for yourself. Let's hear from our YouTube viewer here. How do you see religion and the God concept? Are they one or the same? Maybe meant to say, are they one or the same? Let's hear from Winston Gibson. Hey, I'm telling you, brother, Jesus is fake and scam. That is not what we're saying. That is your opinion, and we do not endorse your opinion. Carter again, religion has been responsible for 98% of conflicts and war in the world. The Holocaust is a great example, and Sekou was able to lay that all out. We could not agree with you more. Let's hear from Faith writes, it's an art of subordination. Religion is an oppressive tool that's used to blanket the masses from challenging societal hierarchical figure. Religion is different from faith. Let it be known. And so we are making it known here. Let's hear from Hassan. Religion will make Africa. Religion will make Africa. Maybe religion will never make Africa develop. Let's hear from Flomo Livingstone, who follows us here religiously. Religion is keeping Africa poor. Religion is contributing to that. It's because of the way we approach the religion. Everything in Jesus' name, everything by God's grace. Jesus say, faith without work. Maybe that Jesus, the Bible said faith without work is dead. This show is very informative. Keep it up, gentlemen. And that is from the wife of our CEO, Eugenia Ja. Let's hear from Dave Ja, smart and strong presenters. We need to pay attention to these brilliant souls, but yet these brilliant souls will not get the attentions of your politicians. They will not give the young people scholarship who can help to redeem our continent. They only go for those ones that sing their munya nonsense, by the way. Why missionaries can't build company and factory in Africa, only church or mosques. We need jobs in Africa. I'm putting S there, my friend. We need jobs in Africa. Like the situation Sekou talk about when he was in Africa, he only prayer, Lord, give me a job. But when he entered Canada, that prayer disappeared. Because why pray for something that is already there? Who created it? Men created it. They saw the need for it and they created it. They didn't have to pray to God. Livingstone again. Maybe I read that one. Oh, okay. Religion is making our people lazy because they are afraid to go to hell. They are really living in hell, and I will add on earth here. And in Africa, our people are really living in hell. So I don't know what kind of hell they are looking for. Very interesting topic. Religion isn't helping Africa. We must hold our politician feet to the fire, and Sekou was able to nail that. Like hear from Hassan Vani again. 95% of Christians are lazy. Why? Because they believe in miracles. And if you can't work, you will not eat. 15 years in church, still life stay the same. Have you asked yourself? Somebody is asking a question. Well, lots of comments. Let me get this one from Jerry Tabolo. Good debate. He said, Anthony Gay, everything you need in this world, the answer is in the Bible. He writes, Africa trouble is the lack of leadership. Anthony Gay again, I am a Christian and I also believe in science. And that is what Sekou was saying. Believe in God but believe also in science, which is how you investigate issues to improve your life. That is the wisdom God has given you, but you're not using it. You're waiting for the old man. I mean, it's like your father have already educated you, have all the education, you have all the job. Then you're telling the old man to feed you. How is that sensible? That is the situation we find ourselves in Africa, fellow listeners. Oh, I think we have to leave the comments there and their progress. Like here from Nathan, then religions do not stop anyone or any country from developing, and I could not agree with that more. Folks, before we get back to the discussion, let us also bring you this advertisement here quickly. Today, no, not this one, sorry. Today at, what is the time? At 6 p.m. Eastern time, our brother here, Dennis Bakukenguja, will be hosting Mansa Washington. Their topic will be, Mansa will be responding to Chucky Taylor's recent interview given to the BBC. So where he said that he is not on the TRC list, so he's free, and that all the crimes for which he's been put into jail for 27 years, those crimes were coke. And so Massa will be responding because she served on the TRC. So the TRC process, respond to Chucky Taylor, the TRC report 12 years later. You do not want to miss this particular discussion. And tomorrow on Tough Talking Thursday, political turbulence in the CPP and President Weah's Christmas song. We have our outstanding panelists. They will be talking tough on the issue. Gentlemen, let me come back to you and let us continue our discussion. And to our viewers, keep rolling in your comments. Gentlemen, because of time, let's roll in the final questions. Does religion play key roles in making political decisions in Africa? The one I want you guys to spend more time on. This is the crumbs of this conversation today. Can religion provide the solutions to Africa's social and economic political problems? Socio-economic and political problems. Can religion do it for us? Let's start with you this time, Sekou.
So we dealing the first question or the last one?
Yeah, let's deal with the last one first. Can religion provide the solution to Africa's socio-economic and political problems?
Well, I don't know anywhere in the world where religion has provided a solution to economic and political problems. Mm-hmm. All I know that religion has provided disunity. It has provided a lot of strife. Now, let us be clear here. We are not attacking anyone's belief. I'm sitting before you here. I believe in the African spirituality. I believe my ancestors who died did not really die. I don't believe death exists. I believe we only transition because energy cannot be destroyed. So I believe my ancestors who died are not really dead. They are going through a cycle of life and they can be reincarnated. And I believe that the cycle of life continues because everything in this universe is recycled because energy goes around. So I believe life in me is an energy. Now, can I go into the lab and prove that? No, I can't. But can I use that now and impose on society? I want every donkey and cat to come and join me in that to make a decision, to make decisions in the country. No, I don't want it. That's my bedroom belief. That's something that I hold to myself, and in which it helps me emotionally, psychologically to be able to face the wider universe, the mystery of existence itself. But when it comes to social, economic, practical problem, we say you find definitive solution to practical problem. I have a river before me and I want to cross the river. If I do not pray to these ancestors to come and make me cross that river, I believe when I walk on that river, the gravity force will push me down that river and I'm going to drown. How do I cross? I need a boat to cross. So this is what we are talking about, rational thinking. And I create a piece of technology and cross. So we are saying this is the way we should approach life. We should find definitive solutions to practical problems. Any leader that come on TV and say, God is going to help us, you need to delete that leader quickly because they are telling you that they are not going to find solution. Because the creator that you are talking about has endowed us with wisdom, has endowed us with understanding, has endowed us with everything it requires for us to exist on this planet. Let us be frank. I've not seen a country that have prayed to stop natural disaster. A natural disaster, when it comes, it kills donkey, cat, rat, and babies. Even babies dying in tsunami, in earthquakes, they die. So people need to understand this. You do not sit down and don't find practical solutions and expect that the Creator has to intervene to help you. I don't think the mystery of the universe works like that. My scenario, I use a logical explanation here. I said when a lion is chasing a deer and the lion is hungry, it needs food, and it's saying, God, help me to kill this deer because I'm hungry. And the deer is saying, God, rescue me. Don't allow this lion to eat me. Is the God of lion different from the God of the deer? And both of them are trying to survive. I said, no. They are both crying to the same God. So, but there is a law of nature that is going to decide our judgment. And that law of nature will be, does the lion have the speed required to overtake this deer? If it does, it will catch it. Does the deer have the energy required to escape from its prey? Yeah, if it doesn't, it will be escaped. But if it doesn't, it will be cut off. There will be no supernatural intervention. Otherwise, 500 years we were enslaved. Did angels come from the sky to rescue us? No, we fought for our freedom. Okay, we were colonized. Did we cry for angels come down to help us? No, we fought for our freedom. The same thing today. There will be no miracle to develop any country. Otherwise, Chinese will never develop because they don't believe in miracle. They believe in practical science. So we need to develop a culture, a scientific culture. I don't see a bird on my roof and begin to think it's a witchcraft. Giant burning witches all around. These things are outdated. We need to move to practical thinking and find practical solutions. Explain our reality with rational thinking. This is what we are moving toward. Socio-economic development are strategies. Every nation built, they sit down and look and plan and strategize. In the next 100 years, 50 years, 30 years, where do we want our society to be? Can we focus on agriculture and grow and become better? Yes. Okay. How do we do that? We need mechanized farming. We put in the strategies together and work it out. It will yield the results. It's not going to happen by we sitting down, you swallow, you will help our country protect this nation. Recently, a group of Christians went to protest in front of our National Assembly, and they said they do not want statues in the country, that these statues are preventing blessing from coming to Liberia. And they want to change the name of the capital city from Monrovia to Christopolis. Now, see the superstition. You that said that religion is not a problem. They said they don't want statues in the country because these statues are causing problems. I say, America, that you go into for treatment, how many statues are there?
All over the place.
The Statue of Liberty alone is bigger than anything else you've ever seen. When you go to everywhere, Washington Monument is a statue. Lincoln Memorial is a statue. Statue all over America. Is America not one of the greatest nations on earth? So why is it a statue will be a problem in Liberia? You want to change our city name to Christopolis. The people that built Monrovia before Christopolis came there, they don't have a language. Their language doesn't matter. You want to call it Christopolis? Jesus Christ, we are not against him. We are not against Christianity, but we are saying before 2,000 years ago, there are 2.7 million year black people bones found in Africa. So we've always existed on this planet millions of years ago before religion began. So we have to think about that. Let that sink in. People have been living before the first religious man was born. So let us use that as a rational way of approaching things. You going around saying people should destroy all our statues because they are bringing bad luck into the country. But while they were going to protest, they have an angel statue with the covenant of God. They paid a carpenter to do that. And that angel statue is a white man. And they are carrying that. So to tell you that people are not thinking, they are not thinking at all. You have a picture of a white man hanging in your house as your God, and you say you don't want statues? Does statue prevent development? So why is America not backward? There's statue everywhere. So we have to approach life differently. Keep to your belief, keep your faith. It's beautiful, it's psychologically, emotionally, it helps everyone. We are not asking anyone to throw away your God, but to build our nation, we need to separate the mosques, the Islam, the church from the state. Let educational system be followed on rational thinking and science. That's what we say.
And before Amara can come in, let me reinforce that practically. Look at our churches. Does God really live in those churches? Who are building those churches? Why the pastors can't just fast and pray and then they have a cathedral just sitting right there? Why do they have to even collect offering from the suffering members and use that offering buy plank, hire a carpenter to build them a makeshift church. And then they stay in the church and collect offering, suffer their members. And in fact, the church is not even clean. The surrounding of the church is even making them sick. It's the pastor, the wife is the treasurer. They collect all the money and they eat it. And they say they are serving God in the first place. Come to think about it. As soon as the member shows up to their door, let us pray. This person is telling you, my child does not have school fee. And the pastor's solution is let us pray. But this pastor does not pray for money to get in his account. He's collecting offering from the members. I mean, what kind of business is this? The pastor with all this power is not praying for a cathedral to be erected soon in the morning after 40 days of fasting. He's collecting offering. Even some people that are not his members, he's reaching out to them to contribute to the construction of the church. Why we can't apply that same understanding to the state? Why we can't apply that same understanding in our individual lives? And we say that it's by the grace of God. Yes, God has grace. That's why he gave you life. Yes, God has grace. That's why he gave you your five senses to apply them. And surely, the good book says, surely the Lord God Almighty will do nothing except through his servants. So why are we not using the five senses God has given us? And we lying to our brothers and sisters that should fast and pray, and their problem will be solved. How many crusades have we not had in Liberia? The Liberia for Jesus Side crusade did not help Liberia with even the corruption. When Charles Taylor was on the ground rolling, oh Yahweh, and the people bought that other thing. Look, religion is a beautiful thing, like Sekou said. It gives you spiritual and psychological strength as a human being to withstand the challenges of life. But if you want to be practical about improving your life and building a nation, these politicians that come to you and say, well, by the grace of God, my plan will work, they don't have any solution for you. Edward, I'm sorry for going down that line. I felt that I needed to reinforce it. We are talking about, can religion provide the solution that we need? Young people in Africa don't have scholarships. The schools are in makeshift in my own country, Liberia. Even the president has a church. PYJ has a church. We have problems. We have a budget. So talk to me, Edward. Can religion provide the solutions to Africa's social, economic, and political problems? Let me hear you.
Oh, that is a capital no. Religion on itself can never provide a solution to Africa's socio, economic, and political problem. Rather, religion is serving as a facilitator to the compoundment of African religious or socio-economic and political issues. Having underscored that, we watch at Africa typical setting. We as a continent, we are the most religious and most divisive continent. Religion is serving as an instrument of a divide and rule system. Look at Nigeria. Nigeria is a world power country into Africa. We call it Big Brother Africa. What has divided Nigeria today is religion. What have deteriorated the Nigerian economy is religion. What have sent the Nigerian economy into recess is religion. What have exposed on a development, religion is even depopulating Nigeria by the numerous killing carried on by this jihadist movement. It's religion. You watch at Central African Republic where you have this anti-Balakas, it's religion. You watch at the north, south, east, and west of Africa, everything is developed, dividing the continent is religion. If you watch in Europe, when the Renaissance starts in the 14th to the 17th century, it's like trying to deviate the European mentality from classifying their faith, their hope, and trust into religion. And religion, when we talk about Renaissance is just like trying to radicalize our religious mentality. Because you are watching at the leadership into Africa today. How many have provided basic solution to African problem? Watch at Congo. You're having a corrupt, the DRC Congo. You're having a kind of government today that was popularly supported or is popularly supported by the Catholic. On a honest basis, when you watch at the analysis whatsoever thing, Martin Fayola won the election. But it is because the Catholic never supported Matipale. They choose to support Philip Kisakedi, who was the bitter rival of Joseph Kabila when his father was alive, Etienne Kisakedi, just because the Catholic people could not have their say. We are seeing each and every African country is deeply divided into religious mentality. And you have people who are definitely poor and found into churches. When you watch at the book in the Old Testament, Amos, you compare it to the New Testament, they preach about social injustice, that they are selling the rich for cows and selling the poor for a pair of slippers or shoes. Even when you enter into churches, you see a divisive mentality. You are given seed based on your contribution into church. Most of those people who call them sheikhs, who call themselves these imams, these people who are well classified into religious, into Muslim mentality, they are using their religious aspect to radicalize Christianity, to radicalize Muslim set of movement. And today you are seeing almost each and every political leader in Africa has his own religious set. You watch at the new leadership in Malawi, where you have Lazarus Chikara. After his leadership, just a few months later, he took his wife, his daughter, his son-in-law, and other family members to an international summit to the UK, classifying religion that is not coming to preach against poverty. It is not coming, in fact, it is like installing a nepotist government. We are using religion. Then you watch at most of this type of political speaking in Africa. Religion has never managed to provide a solution. Europeans' mentality about religion is quite different to that of African mentality. Maybe they try to radicalize the religion that they have, they just try to ensure that there is something. All of us are religious. I'm not an infidel. I have faith. I believe in God. I am a Christian. I pray to God, but I will never think that I should be sleeping and God should solve my own problem. No, I should work. That is why they said God help those who help themselves. Even as you rightly stated, you watch it in the book of James chapter 2, I think verse 15 to 17, tells you about faith, that any faith that is not backed up with work is like a body that's lying down without life. So it's very useless. So we're watching religion there. Religion has actually contributed to Africa's problem. We are seeing a lot of young people today who think that religion can provide a solution. No, because if religion can provide solutions to Africa's socioeconomic problems, you have seen how many churches they have taken these pastors. Pastors are men of God. Our president-elect actually use either Christian or Muslim faith to ensure that they get elected into offices. Watch at Nigeria. When Buhari came into power, we are thinking that the coming of Buhari into power is going to do away with Boko Haram said, because Goodluck Jonathan, who was in Nigeria, was a Christian, or is a Christian, and thinking that Goodluck Jonathan is a Christian, and the Niger Delta have been radicalized, and thinking that because of the radicality and even in the north, and Muslims are the people fighting against the government, that when Buhari comes in, he's going to solve the problem. And he said in 3 months' time, he's going to solve Nigeria's problem. It was within that 3 month time that Boko Haram went as far as committing assault and committing suicide and other things into Lagos, where it has never existed. So it is also religion. So religion has never solved African problem. Rather, it is compounding the problem of Africa. Maybe wise thinking or wise political decision, and we need to watch beyond the ordinary books that we are seeing. I think Africans need to start thinking scientifically to solve problems, but religion is always an obstacle towards the progress of Africa.
Thank you so much, Edward Amara, Focus on Liberia, West Africa correspondent. Folks, you have been watching Focus on Liberia. This is our program, Roundtable Africa, where we place the focus on the issues affecting the continent of Africa and its people. And today we brought you the topic, religion and development in Africa. We hope we were able to give you something to provoke your thinking and think even more better, because just praying alone would not do it for us. We will take a short break. When we come back, we'll be taking our closing statement, and that is the powerful one you do not want to miss. So stay tuned, just a few seconds. We'll be right back for the closing. right, folks, we are back with you here, focus on Liberia. But before we close, let us hear a few most comments. Let's hear from Dave Jack, creative thinking, critical thinking, and healthy psychology for the African. Continue the fight for real education, folks. Thank you, Dave Jack. Now, let's hear from Axe, right? Interesting topic, Brother Sekou. We need to change brilliant thinking. And I hear from Mr. Carter Jr. again. I thank you guys for such program. I only hope that the rest of Liberia was watching and listening to this program. There are so much to be learned. And let us hear from Francis C. Wilson. Thank you. Education is what we need. Simple history, geography, and rational thinking will tell you no blonde hair, blue-eyed white man was living in that area of the globe as a person indigenous to that area, but tell an African that and they want to fight you. Can Almighty God Allah not fight his own wars? Or mental slavery? She ends with that. Here from Bob here in Liberia, there are more churches than schools. This is a deep problem. Dave Jah again with the young people after quick gains and not interested in critical thinking. Is there hope in the leadership of the young people and religious leaders? My fear, most of our young people are serving conveyors of bad ideas. Too many comments like this one from Seattle Thompson, very salient point. Edward, religion has been compounding our problems. And let us hear from this gentleman, Jerome Gilman. He's a member of this network, but he is on a bad sedition. By the way, we need to do part 2. In fact, this topic needs to be discussed monthly. That is a recommendation from Mr. Gilman. And let us hear from our CEO. Has religion done any good to Africa, specifically Liberia? I am thinking about schools, hospitals, etc., established by the churches. How do we forget bad governance but the blame on religion? If our governments are competent and responsive to the needs of the people, they will not be finding alternatives. Don't you think? Gentlemen, that is the question Dennis Jah is asking. Well, folks, we have to leave it there and come to our discussion here. These gentlemen are the hosts of this program. To close, let's start with you, Mr. Edward Amara, our West African correspondent. It's getting dark there. Let's hear your closing statement on the topic, religion and development in Africa.
I think let me just take it lastly from our CEO comment. I think I don't really think so. I tend to disagree a bit because our politicians are using religion to capitalize on the ignorance of the people and continue looting our economy, and at the same time creating poverty in South Africa, because most of what we are seeing today in Africa are man created instead of something that is any natural. Maybe religion, we're watching at this in the supernatural aspect, and most of the problem that we are having today is something that is artificial, and people use religion to ensure that they create problems into Africa. Having said that, maybe we may have time to discuss this topic back again. But I think Africans need to think wisely. All of us are religious. Nobody is an infidel. Nobody is a pagan. We don't believe in one or two religion or that. Some of us sometimes we think freely. But I think we should understand that religion is quite different from scientific mentality. We should understand that even our God, or those who even write the Bible, I think they use science to ensure these words pass from one state to another. Because I think the ink, the book, and other things that they use to pen down God's words, inspired by the according to the Bible, it was out of science. And even God used the Bible talk about science. So the Bible also qualifies science. So maybe Africans need to think positively and understand that religion is said. It is compounding Africans' problem instead of trying to solve it. Most of those people who think that religion can solve their problem, today they are living in abject poverty. You have seen cripples in church, people who are poverty-stricken, people who are sick, and they are using religion as an aspect to save their life. Instead, most of those people are going to poor, and their problem will never solve. And our pastors today, they are getting rich at religion because they use the churches that have membership and enrich themselves. You watch at most of them, like David Odeyipo, who is he's part of the Winners Chapel. You watch at Johnson Suleiman and others. They are hard workers. And they use their own scientific mentality, that could be one, and they use their philosophy and they use their intellectual skills to write books. They are definitely not idle. But you are seeing, trust me, to close my statement, I have come across a lot of young people like me. You will see them, they will become pastors. And when they become pastors, they will definitely end up to be beggars. Because at least if you're a religious person, I'm not saying don't become a pastor. You have the right to become a pastor, but you should be an employed person, so that even if you want to tell your member the hard fact, he or she will listen to you. But if you as a pastor depends on the church offering, if a member offends the church principle, you will never be bold enough to tell such member into his face that what you have done is wrong. Because should you do such thing, the offering that he or she give will never come to you. So it is the pastor's capital that is relegated. So definitely they will. So religion is even preventing people to speak to their leaders whom they elected on religious principles. That is why you are seeing Nigeria today is deeply divided. That you are seeing today Burkina Faso and others, they are still suffering from those things. There are other countries where if you do not believe to one religion or other, finally, let us conclude into the Middle Age. You see, like what is happening today in Lebanon. Lebanon, they have, if you do not belong to a particular religious set in Lebanon, you are not classified as a legal citizen. You should either be a Christian, you should be a Sunni Muslim or a Shia Muslim, unless you are not a legal member of Lebanon. And the president should become from what? From the Christian. The prime minister should be a Sunni Muslim. Then the head of the judiciary should be like a Shia Muslim. And it is out of that divisive principle, even when, in fact, they do not select leaders based on their capabilities. Rather, each and every religious committee present a particular leader to represent them. And these leaders are not qualified based on what they can do. Rather, they are being selected based on religious principles. So it's like saying it's a hereditary system. How sure I am that if the first king ruled me, when his son succeeds him, his son's going to rule me. Maybe they are not patriotic. So unfortunately, I can conclude with this. Religion is responsible for our socio-economic and political problems. So thank you.
Edward Amara there with his closing. Sekou, let you close us.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to be very clear here to our viewers and who are participating here. We are not attacking any religion. The mere fact that you believe that there is a supernatural power that might have created this universe and it's responsible for your daily living, and eventually when you die, there is a city awaiting you in the sky. We do not want to judge that because we have not gone there to come back to tell you that you are wrong. So nobody is trying to question your faith about your belief in your God, of your reward and your punishment in the hereafter. We cannot question that because we have not gone to come back. But however, we are questioning the importance of religion in our society based on three reasons. One, the historical reason we've highlighted here, that how did we come in contact with this religion? And this is a moral and historical question, and it's very important. And we say we got this religion through whips and flogging and punishment, slavery, colonialism. We got it by force. If we were colonized by India, we all would be speaking Indian language by now, and we will be practicing Buddhism and Hinduism. If we were colonized by Chinese, by now all of us here will be having Chin Chow names, and then we will be practicing Chinese religion. This is the fact. Some of us, like my ethnic group, because we came in contact with the Arabs in the Mali Empire, that's why we are Muslim. We are Muslim today. It was not because there was a revelation that fell or our ancestors felt the need to develop a religion called Islam. No, we did not. We don't even understand the language we are using to pray to God, to tell you that we were colonized. Ask somebody from my ethnic group in Liberia or an elderly and say the Arabic reading you are reading to your God, tell me the meaning. What does it mean? They will tell you, I don't know, but I'm just praying. That is to tell you that there was a power that imposed it. They did not willingly accept it. So it is the historical reason why we are saying it is not good for us. Second reason we are not good is the psychological reason for it, as the psychological aspect of religion, or how religious theology are taught. There is something in education or in science called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is in neuroscience, the study of the brain and how the children's brain develop when they are coming of age to learn. So according to scientists, when we are born as little children, our brain is like a little gum up there that can stress to any level. So anytime we are giving an information, the brain stress and take that information. It begins to stress. So the way is like a software developing. So the first information we give to the child, it becomes the software in their brain. So all other information that is going to come, that software is what's going to use it to operate. So we were growing up, we were told that the prophet of Islam went to heaven on a horse. Okay, he sat on a horse and he went to heaven. So there was no law of gravity. We look at it that somebody sat on horse and he was able to go to heaven. So each time we sit down in the night, we look in the moon, we are seeing people. We say, oh, look at somebody going to heaven. We are seeing a woman and a man holding hand going to heaven. We do not have a rational scientific thinking. We are looking in the moon and start looking for human beings going to heaven. This is the way our brain has been programmed. We were told that Jesus went into the sky. So when we are looking at the sky, we say heaven is in the sky. So this is the way our brain has been programmed. So we are told that unbelievers will be burned in hell. They are enemies of God. So when I come from a Muslim family, when I see a Christian, I see an enemy of God right before me. So we are saying that psychological work that is done is dangerous for our society. This is what we are saying. And we are saying that in our society, we do not have a majority Christian in Africa ruling. We don't have majority Muslim ruling. We have half and half. And that half and half, there will be a clash within the religion, and we will never have peace as long as one religion does not dominate. That's why in Saudi Arabia, religion might be a little bit better than it will be in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, you have the North Christian and the South Muslim, and they are not willing to see eye to eye. You don't have that scenario in Israel. You don't have that scenario in Saudi Arabia. One of the religions dominates there. So the practical application of religion in Africa, it will not work because we are not of the same faith, so we will be clashing all the time. Unlike our culture, we can find a common ground on the African culture because no African herbalist is angry with another African priest because he's not following his own belief. Such thinking does not exist. We believe in a plurality of people approach to life and the understanding of the universe. So we are saying the psychological aspect, the historical aspect of religion is what is affecting Africa. And we say when it comes to socio-economic development, we say the answer is science. There is no God going to come down to develop nation. God has done his job. The job God has done is to develop a machine like me with all the software built in me to do all that is required. If I fail to do so, I have to be removed. I wrote a Facebook post a few days ago. I said the universe that we live in, it does not like redundancy. Any energy that is redundant, the universe will get rid of that energy. If you don't believe it, lie down somewhere for 3 weeks without moving. You will see flies and maggot and worm will start approaching your body because the universe does not like any energy that doesn't move. Once you stop moving, the universe get rid of you. If black people do not rise up to build a scientific culture, build a powerful country, the universe will get rid of us because we are not important anymore. We are not contributing nothing to technology and science. We are only consuming and consuming. So we are not important and the universe will get rid of us. That is the law of the universe. It's called natural selection. You are not capable of contributing to the rest of the world. They treat you as slave. And at the end of the day, they will kill you and you disappear from the earth. If you don't want to disappear, you need to build a powerful country. America cannot attack China. America cannot attack North Korea. And they too cannot attack America. Why? They are all equally contributing to technology and they are powerful. We need to get to that area or we will be disappointed or we will be destroyed. They are not against us because of our skin. People say white people hate us because of our skin. It's just an excuse. When we go back to a history book, white people used to worship black skin, the Greeks. The black woman is what named after Paris, Per Isis. The black woman was considered like the most beautiful thing on this planet. It changed when we lost power. It changed when we lost our glory. in the community of science and technology. The image of God was black throughout the history of the world until it changed recently. So because we lost power, we do not have the ability to contribute to science and technology. That's why we have been overlooked, and it could contribute to our disappearance on this planet if we don't do something about it. God loves everybody, white, black, green, unbeliever. God does not care to look at who you are. But when you do not do what you are supposed to do as a software built by God, you will be eliminated. That's our point.
That was the voice of Sekou Keller, host of our program, Roundtable Africa, with our closing, a program like no other that you cannot find any other place other than focus on Liberia. We want to say thank you for watching. I'm Anthony C. I'm moderator today in today's edition of Roundtable Africa. The song says, "We are all Liberians," and that song is taking us home. I hope you learned something from this program today, because here at Focus on Liberia, we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Thank you for watching. We see you next Wednesday, same time, for another edition of our program, Roundtable Africa. The song, "We Are All Liberians," is taking us home right now. Bye-bye, folks.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Israel, USA, all we want. Liberia, oh. Israel, USA, all we want. Liberia, Liberia.